All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ted Harris, and I'm with the Pennsylvania Petroleum Association. I'd like to welcome you to our monthly webinar series. We took a hiatus on the monthly webinar series here for the last couple months. We are excited to get back into it here in 2021. Normally, this webinar will take place the first Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. This month we're a little thrown off here. We're going to be doing actually two webinars with National Energy Improvement Fund, one on the commercial side here today, and then we're also doing one on a more residential related topic tomorrow. So moving forward in March as well as April, we will be getting back to our again the first Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m. But regardless, appreciate you joining us here today, and again, excited to resume this webinar series here for our membership in 2021. Before we get started, would like to remind you, as an attendee, you're going to be on mute for the length of the presentation. You will, however, have the capability to ask questions and interact with Jensen and myself. I encourage you, if you have a question or comment that comes up, please type that into the question feature and go to webinar. And what we'll do after Jensen concludes his presentation, we'll go back in and review those questions. I will moderate them to Jensen. If for some reason we don't get to it, or I need to connect you with Jensen after the fact, we will absolutely do that. But again, I encourage you to use that functionality if anything comes up from a question perspective. At this point, I would like to introduce our presenter. Jensen Handwerk is with the National Energy Improvement Fund. Their corporate office is out of Allentown, but Jensen's he's up early this morning. He's in Colorado. So I appreciate him being here today. He's gonna be covering the topic, new PA Small Business Energy Financing Program, trusted commercial financing for oil, gas, and other energy improvements. And at this point, Jensen, I'd like to pass it off to you.
All right, well, hey, thank you, Ted, and good morning, everyone. Great to be with you this morning. As Ted said, my name is Jensen Handwerk. I work as a commercial business development specialist for the National Energy Improvement Fund. And as Ted mentioned, today, the goal of the presentation is to, one, give you an overview of the National Energy Improvement Fund, and then from there, we're gonna dive into our commercial financing program. As Ted said, and I'm sure I'll mention again probably 2 or 3 more times, is we will be hosting a webinar tomorrow morning to go over our residential financing program. Today we'll primarily focus on commercial. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and jump in, tell you a little bit about who we are at National Energy Improvement Fund, or NEIF. So National Energy Improvement Fund, we've been around in our current format for about 3.5 years now. However, our legacy and our existence, it dates back much farther. So we joined together as a mission-based lender or a certified B Corp. We specifically focus on energy and resiliency projects across the country, financing those projects to make them more affordable and accessible for end users and help contractors sell more deals. And so we provide commercial financing solutions, consumer financing solutions for essential energy and resiliency improvements. On the residential side, again, we'll go into tomorrow, we operate as a licensed consumer lender. And this has actually grown since this slide was put together. We're in about 25 states now. And then commercially, we are active nationally. And so any of the 50 states, as well as on a case-by-case basis, internationally in countries like Puerto Rico, Canada, and elsewhere, we can take a look at those projects. We primarily work through different partnerships. And so on the commercial side, for example, we have a number of different partnerships with energy utilities around the country where we'll serve as their preferred lender for any kind of commercial upgrade, energy upgrade. And then we also work with associations such as the Pennsylvania Petroleum Association. We work with a number of different contractors throughout the country, distributors, manufacturers, you name it. And like I said, we've been doing this for a long time. And so even though NEIF has been around only for about 3.5 years, Our residential team dates back to a company called AFC First that was doing energy efficiency financing up in the Northeast, dating back to the 1940s. If any of you heard of or were familiar with the Keystone Help program, that was AFC First's program run by our co-founder, Peter Kreisa. And then our commercial team dates back to a company called Harcourt, Brown and Carey that was doing energy efficiency policy consulting for about 15 or so years out of here in Denver, Colorado, working with local, state, federal government. All of that is important is to say that folks at my company have the special combination of knowing energy and knowing financing to be able to make these projects run about as efficiently as possible, to make sure that we're not interfering with your sales cycle. What we're doing is we're being another tool in your toolkit, another way you can support your customers by offering financing in a way to close more deals. Which really brings me to why we're here today. So why does this matter to you? Is our experience has taught us is that when contractors are failing to close an energy project, it's often due to customers' lack of capital or this continued cycle of deferred maintenance, right? And as we all know, and I really don't need to restate, is in the last year, because of COVID-19 and the various shutdowns that businesses have experienced, we've really seen the world of small businesses, nonprofits, schools, you name it, struggle with cash flow and maybe have to say no to these types of energy projects, or at least have to put them off for now. And so what hopefully this tool is going to show you that we can do is that by changing that pitch a little bit to not only just focus on the total project cost, but also be able to break your project down into a simple monthly payment that your customer can understand. And by bringing in financing into the conversation early and often, you can hopefully close more deals, right? You're going to take away that sticker shock, which we'll go into a little bit more here in a bit. And again, if I can have you guys leave this presentation with anything, it's that there's no cost to working with National Energy Improvement Fund. And so there's no cost to you, there's no obligation your customer ever moves forward with financing, but we often see this as a difference between closing and not closing a sale. And just to kind of drive home this point even more is when you offer NEIF financing, we often see contractors close more deals. And that's because, again, think about this like a car dealership or a phone or any other major purchase you might be making these days. You would never be able to walk onto a car lot and have them just tell you the total value of the car. Rather, they're going to break that car down into a monthly payment. Same thing if you're buying a mattress, a phone, a TV, you name it. And so by breaking it down into a monthly payment, a customer is going to be able to more easily budget for that energy improvement and be able to say yes to your project. So you're going to be able to close more deals. Hopefully you're going to be able to sell more high efficiency equipment because they might be able to afford a little bit more expensive dollar amount. And we're going to see contractors improving their cash flow because you're going to get paid quickly and reliably when you work with NEIF, both on the front and the back end. And so we'll go over this again as we dive into the process. But when a customer is approved for financing on the commercial side of things, NEIF can pay you typically 50% up front before you begin work to help pay for labor and equipment. And on the back end of the project, once you guys finish up and we receive a final invoice, we're going to get you paid directly into your bank account via an ACH payment within 1 to 2 business days after project completion. Okay, so that's really the why. So you've learned about who we are at NEIF. We've touched briefly on why it's important to offer financing, especially in this day and age as businesses struggle with cash flow. But let's go ahead and dive into the program itself. So again, as I mentioned, we are specifically going to be focusing on this Pennsylvania Small Business Energy Financing Program. However, before we dive into the specifics of this program, I want to drive home the fact that in our commercial division, we finance projects as low as $2,000 and as high as into the multi-millions. And so if you have a program or have a project that either is above $100,000, which is the program we're going to be speaking about today, or say outside of Pennsylvania, those are projects that we can take a look at and can help with. But we're going to be focusing on the small business program today. Why does the small business program, why is this important? So typically speaking, the way that our commercial financing division has worked is as a multi-channel lender. So whereas on our residential side of things, where we are acting as the lender, originating and servicing loans, it's all in-house. Our commercial division has historically been more of a multi-channel lender approach, meaning that we, depending on the project size and the type of project, we can match that project to a variety of lenders that we work with. We're not a traditional broker in the sense that we're going to take a project and toss it up, see who might bite on it, but rather we have different solutions, whether that's with PACE financing, various solar financing, or just equipment leases that we can mix and match to make sure that the customer ends up with the best possible solution. Now, this small business program, this is the first program that we launched as a commercial division where we are the lender originating and servicing loans. So it's all in-house. And because of that, we're actually able to offer a very competitive and very advantageous program for customers. And so this program is going to be for any type of project between $2,000 and $100,000 in the state of Pennsylvania. It's going to be for any small business or nonprofit institution. And so this is not just for commercial entities, but also if, say, you work with a religious institution like a church or a synagogue, they would be eligible for this program. We're going to see terms from 1 to 10 years with a fixed rate at 6.99%. And this is really where the program stands out, as if any of you have had any experience selling with commercial financing in the past, you'll know that you're going to be hard pressed on small projects to get anywhere beyond 7 years. And in some cases, 5 years is going to be the max. In this program, we can lend out to 10 years, and there's a 6.99% interest rate across the board, which again, if you're working with a traditional commercial lender for equipment financing, you're going to be hard pressed to get a rate that low. Typically in the marketplace, at a 1, 2, 3 year term, you're going to see interest rates ranging as high as 10, 15, and 20%. And so this is a great program. It's going to be much lower than a credit card interest rate that your customers might typically be paying with, and be able to get them to say yes and move forward with the project. Again, project must be in Pennsylvania. There's instant credit approvals for well-qualified borrowers when they apply, and drive home the fact, again, and is the day as long as there are no contractor fees to participate in this program or any of the programs that we offer with National Energy Improvement Fund. Okay, so how do you offer this program? There's 2 ways that a customer can access this program, either initiated by the customer or initiated by you, the contractor. Even though there's no cost to participating with us, we do need you to become an NEIF approved contractor, which is a process we'll be talking about at the end of this presentation. So when you see the NEIF approved, we'll go over that here in a little bit. But for the program itself, we do have a direct to customer credit application accessed on the program page of our website. We'll also provide you with that URL. You can use that passively if your customer brings up financing and says, hey, you qualify for this program based on the dollar amount, being in Pennsylvania, et cetera. You can just go ahead and give them that direct application and they can apply. And again, if they're a well-qualified borrower, they might be able to get instant credit decision. The longest it usually takes us is about 1 to 2 business days to turn around with an approval. Or the other way to offer this, and this is really what we're going to be focused on today, and really what we specialize in, is the ability to initiate this offer from, by yourself as the contractor. And so we make it really easy for contractors to integrate financing into your sales process by what we call, our commercial financing portal, which we'll jump into here shortly. This commercial financing portal is going to allow you to create a monthly payment proposal in just about 2 minutes or less, so that you can include that financing proposal in every job bid, as you're going out and quoting deals. What that job bid will hopefully, show is your contractor, like I said previously, or your customer will be able to say, hey, not just see that total project cost, but be able to break it down into that monthly payment. And then at that point, if they're interested in moving forward with your project and with our financing, you or myself, we can send them that application directly to their email for them to fill it out. And like I said earlier, on this very screen, get instant credit decision. Max it will take us 2 days. And then you'll be able to, via our commercial financing portal, track that project from proposal to application and all the way to funding via our portal, which we're going to jump into right now. Reminder, if you have any questions along the way, please go ahead and be sharing them in the chat box. We'll jump into them at the end. So what you're looking at now, and Ted, I'm actually going to pick on you for a second. Are you able to see my new screen, the commercial portal?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you, Ted. So what you're looking at now is our commercial financing portal. Essentially what we've done at National Energy Improvement Fund is we've automated the entire commercial financing process with contractors in mind to make it incredibly easy for you guys to propose and close projects with easy monthly payment solutions. After this presentation is over, I'll make sure to send you guys the link to this portal. You will need to create an account, but once you log in, you'll have your own custom login where you'll be able to enter, track, and manage all projects that go through the commercial financing process. And when you log in as a contractor user type, the first screen that you're going to be seeing is this create a monthly payment proposal intake form. This is the intake form that allows you, like I said, to create a proposal in about 2 minutes or less for your customer. And it's how any project initiated by a contractor is going to enter our sphere. This is how I know to be able to get to work and help you guys out along the way. As we dive in, I want to say that this is the same form that you would be using, say, if you enter a project in Pennsylvania or where I am here in Denver, Colorado, California, New Jersey, the state of Maine, wherever you are. Again, we offer commercial financing in all 50 states, and this is going to be the form that allows you to create that proposal. What the portal will do is automatically filter you into the correct pricing option, because like I said, we offer this program in Pennsylvania for deals under $100,000, but we offer programs larger than $100,000, and we offer special financing programs in certain areas of the country, depending on certain partnerships we might run with the government there, or the local utility. So again, this form will help you get to that right pricing option. And as you can see, we just need a little bit of information about where the project is being installed. One of the most important features most important data points that I do want to draw your attention to is this borrower type. You've heard me mention that we do, small businesses, commercial entities, and nonprofits. Drive that point home again is when we say commercial financing, that is going to be all encompassing between any kind of commercial entity, whether that is, your small mom and pop shop store, a large corporation, any type of commercial entity, but it also encompasses any kind of municipal entity, whether that's a Parks and Rec department, town and county building, or a public school. We can finance that as well. And if there's a nonprofit you're working with, whether that's a 501c3 institution or a church, synagogue, you name it, you'll be able to finance that through us. Next, we ask for a little bit of information about who your customer is. So their business name and main point of contact. I always want to tell contractors and drive this point home is that even though we're asking for an email address at the point of this proposal creation, we are never going to take your customer's email and send them anything outside of how it relates to this project. And in fact, unless you ask me, say, hey, Jensen, my customer Blake here at Lakeside has got some questions about financing. Would you mind reaching out to them? In that case, absolutely. More than happy to jump on the phone and provide that sales support, answer questions about financing. Otherwise, we won't take their email and use it for anything outside of this project. And then finally, we just need a couple of data points about the project itself. And so, I'll tell you that the only two required data fields here are project cost and equipment description. And as I'm assuming most of you guys or all of you guys are HVAC contractors, that's typically all we're going to be seeing from contractors like y'all. However, if you do calculate any type of energy or maintenance savings, you can certainly plug them in here. It will go into a simple cash flow analysis on the proposal. And if there's any utility rebate or incentive, you can plug that in here and say how you'd like to use that rebate, whether you want to use that to reduce the total finance amount, or have the customer keep that as a nice cash bonus at the end of the job. However, this is enough to get us going. Today, we're going to say we're running a $25,000. Let's say we're doing a boiler replacement for a church. This is all we need. And from here, we click Show My Options. And this is going to take you to the multi-pricing options screen. Again, because our portal recognizes that it's a commercial entity for a $25,000 job, which qualifies for the small business financing program in Pennsylvania, we're automatically going to see it show up here. You're going to see a different option whether you maybe enter a project in New Jersey or a project $100,000 or above. But from here, you just verify that you've got the right equipment, breeze through this screen and click Finalize My Proposal, which is going to take you to the monthly payment proposal overview screen. I like to call this the main action screen of the portal, because this is really going to allow you to jump into the next phase, whether that's going to be showing that proposal to your customer by printing it out, downloading and sending it along, creating multiple versions of the same proposal, or sending it off into application. But most immediately, we always want to draw your attention down to the monthly payment estimates, because like I said, and I'll say again and again, this is really the value of financing, is breaking down this total project cost into a simple monthly payment your customer can understand. What our portal will automatically do is select the lowest monthly payment possible, which in this case is going out to the longest 10-year term possible. However, you as the contractor can come in here, click Show All Available Terms, and click on and off whatever terms you want to put in front of your customer. Whatever terms are clicked on here is going to show on the one-page printout of the screen. So let's say we want to put 3, 4, 5, 6 years in front of your customer. We just leave that selected, and from there you can either email the proposal to yourself or to your customer right through the portal, or you can come up here and click Print, which is going to give you a downloadable version of this page. Again, shows the same information at $25,000, same monthly payment estimates, and provides the next steps for your customer. Let's say you put that in front of your customer. They say, yep, I love your project. I want to move forward and I want to apply for financing. You either let me know and I'll send out the application, or you can jump back in here and click Ready to Apply. And that's going to send your customer an email with their secure online credit application, which they can fill out in about 5 minutes or less. And it's going to ask you to upload your scope of work on that previous screen. When we get this one-page credit application and we get your scope of work, we're going to be able to come to a credit decision. With this program, we can do so almost immediately, and with 2 business days really being the maximum amount of time. It's not until we get to projects above $150,000 that we need any kind of financials. So for smaller projects, it's app only, really quick process. Once we get above $150,000, we will request typically 2 years of financials with this application, but still take about 2 to 3 business days to come to a credit decision. So that's the portal in a nutshell. That's how you're going to enter a project and get it to application stage. The last quick thing I'll show you before jumping back to the presentation is that this is not just an intake tool, but also a pipeline management or CRM tool. You'll be able to, with full transparency, track and manage all projects that you've entered into this commercial financing project and see where they are in the commercial financing process. I'm going to just jump back over to the presentation and talk for another couple minutes before we pass it back off to Ted for question and answer. So next steps. Like I said, there's no fee to working with us, but we do ask that you become an NEIF approved contractor. It's a very quick application process. Essentially, we want to see that you've been in business for a couple of years, you have the proper license and insurance, and that you have a good reputation in the field. Of course, we all know that there's unfortunately been some bad eggs in this business, and so we want to work with companies, as I'm sure you all do, that are dedicated to providing a great service to customers. And so this is a quick application process. Shouldn't take you more than a couple of days. 5 minutes to fill out the application, and then our customer or our contractor enrollment specialist will be in touch with you via email to finish out the process. And once you've become an NEIF approved contractor, you're ready to go to be able to offer our commercial financing as well as any of our other products that we offer. And so just a reminder, we are a consumer lender for any kind of home improvement in actually about 25 states for projects between $2,500 and $35,000. We also offer a program that offers rebate advances in less than 1 week for eligible utility programs. So rather than waiting 2, 3, or 4 months for a utility rebate, we can pay that right away. And we're actually an insurance and lending company for the installation of fortified roofs. So we do a lot. Being an NEIF approved contractor, you can offer any of these different services to your customers. And what you're going to get at the end of the day is that we're going to work with you and your customer every step of the way. We're here. We can provide very hands-on or hands-off approach depending on what you like, but we're here to provide that customer sales support to answer those questions about financing. We don't expect you to be financing experts, but we're here all the way, and we can provide in-depth training, whether that's how to use the portal like we just kind of gave the quick run through, or if it's more in-depth about how to successfully integrate financing into your sales process, we can do that as well. But thank you again for taking the time. My contact information is here. My colleague Randy, who also works in Pennsylvania, you'll see his contact information here. He'll likely be on the webinar tomorrow morning that goes over residential financing. But at this point, I want to pause, say thank you so much. Remind you that we offer a full scope of commercial financing options from $2,000 to up into the multi-millions. And I'd love to hear what questions you might have. And we'll be able to wrap up here in a few minutes and get you guys on with your day. But thanks again. And I'll pause here.
Jensen, thank you. Appreciate the presentation. At this point, we don't have any questions. I'm going to give it a couple of moments here before we wrap up here today. But again, appreciate your participation. As you alluded to, we do have another webinar scheduled tomorrow morning. And then from there, we're going to get into the monthly process. At the moment on our website, you can find our upcoming webinar schedule. We are currently there's a topic next month as well as April. We're currently working with FMCSA to come up with a couple different pieces of content or webinars for the month of May. And then we'll be adding additional webinars after that point. So please check our website, and we'll of course be pushing out information to our membership. So I don't see any questions. Jensen, your contact information is on there. Obviously, if anyone has something direct, please feel free to reach out to Jensen or reach out to myself, and I'll be happy to connect you. But again, appreciate your time today, Jensen, and I hope everyone has a good day.
Great, thank you all.